So this video is about journeying into the Akashic Records, and by the end of this video, you'll know what are the Akashic Records, how can you journey into the Akashic Records, what are some of the benefits of doing so, how to prepare yourself for a journey into the Akashic Records, and what to expect during and after a journey into the Akashic Records, and the importance of setting an intention before entering the records. So without further ado, and I'm Varney, a spiritual teacher, coach, mentor, and also author and podcaster. So, and please like and subscribe to my channel before we start. So the Akashic Records are really a collection of information about everything in the universe. Your life, your thoughts, your feelings from past life as well as future ones can all be found within these timeless records that date back to where our Earth first formed, really. It's incredible that you'll find when exploring this magnificent... people sometimes see it as a library. You know, sometimes some people see there's no right or wrong here. Yeah, it's how your psyche sees it. So some people see it as a library. I know I certainly used to see it as a library. However, the more I've went into the Akashic Records, I actually see it as a... do you know when you go into, when you see those films, it's a consciousness, you know, it's a right consciousness. It's just an energy, you know, that you're jumping into that consciousness, like into a parallel reality, and you're actually retrieving the information. However, some people like to get a visual, so they see a library. Doesn't matter what way you see it. Doesn't matter how you see it. And journeying into the Akashic Records, really, when some people think, when they hear the Akashic, some people think, oh, it's a spiritual group. It's, you know, it's not true. It's, if anything, it's another realm. It's another dimension of remembering every single detail that's happened. You know, every detail has happened for you. And when you so it's your soul records, but it's not just this lifetime, it's all your lifetimes. The soul records are in there. So how can you journey into the Akashic Records? I would suggest getting yourself someone who actually knows how to do it, because there's a process you need to go through to get to the Akashic Records. You know, you have to get yourself really into a trance type level of meditation before you can access the Akashic Records. You know, you got to get yourself in that trance-like consciousness, we'll say, before you can access that information. So, because what you're doing is you're going into the unconsciousness, because that's where all the information is about us as well, you know, that holds all that information in there. And then you go into the Akashic Records. Now, in the Akashic Records, there's so many different things that is in the Akashic Records. You know, there's another video I have. Go and have a look at it about the Akashic Records on my channel, and it really goes in depth about the lords and the teachers and all that kind of stuff in the Akashic Records. So go and have a wee look at that. So what's the benefits of doing the Akashic Records? So the benefits I find, because everybody's different, remember, the benefits that I find is you can look at your soul contracts, your karmic contracts, and if you've got the lessons from those contracts, you can null and void them. You can also get your purpose from the Akashic Records. You can also get the name that you were rightfully born with from the beginning of time from the Akashic Records. I've had students going to the Akashic Records and finding their name and changing their name. You know, absolutely changing the name completely when they've found, because it's just felt so at home, that name, when they've got it. Yeah. I've seen people transform their lives when they visit the Akashic Records. So, for instance, the gatekeepers and soul contracts, when you go into that, again, is another thing. I think I've done a video about that as well. So usually when the soul contract gatekeepers and the soul contracts, usually what happens there is you're here for a bigger purpose. You're there to shine that light out. But there can be a lot of fear around there, because in the past you've been, you know, if you've been had gifts, you know, psychic gifts, you've been hung, you've been drowned, you've been raped, whatever, you know, in the past life. So there's a fear of showing that spiritual gift out in to society. And so basically what happens is that fear eradicates when you go to the Akashic Records. Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits of going into the Akashic Records, like massive benefits. I mean, I've seen lives transformed when we went into the Akashic Records. But how do you prepare yourself for a journey into the Akashic Records? You know, as I said, you set the intention. You've always got to set the intention. You know, and always you're having what you're actually going into the Akashic Records for. So if you're setting an intention and it's confused, you'll come back with confused information, or you won't get any information at all. You just won't. So it has to be very clear, a clear focus, a clear intention of what it is. So, for instance, if I was going into the soul contracts, the Akashic Records, to look at the soul contract for, say, a client to over a relationship, you know, they seem to keep getting their abusive relationships. Couldn't get that word out there. So if they keep going into abusive relationships and they don't understand why, there'll be a karmic contract that's in there, or a soul contract that's in the Akashic Records, that'll tell us why, you know. Or so I would set that intention that we're looking for the karmic or the soul contract for their relationship issue around abuse. Clear, simple. And then I would go in there and look and see what is going on. I would take them with me as well to see, because they get so much valuable insight from that also. Because, and the reason for to take them in is they are the ones that have to annul that contract. Now, if they haven't got the growth, the lessons from that contract, they won't be able to null and void it. You just can't, because it's there. You've got to get the lessons from it. Yeah. So the quicker you get the lessons, the better. So, so you can expect. I mean, I've took people in the Akashic Records, and it's I always say to them first, how do you think of the Akashic Records? So most people will say library. You know, they will say a library, and so I'll say, right, let's go down, and I'll imagine we're going in a lift. We're going into a lift. We come into a garden or whatever, you know, or we come into a lift and we just come into a total big huge library. Yeah. And it's just books from top to bottom. As far as you can see, it's just books. And I always see like gremlin type people, you know, the lords and the masters and all the rest of it. And then I'll always see like there's a huge long hallway. There's a huge hallway, and at the end of the hallway, there's sometimes I'll see there's this like the Star of David, you know, and I've got archangels at every point in that Star of David, and then the person who we're going in there with the soul contracts has got to stand in the middle, and each of those archangels or ascended masters, whoever's there, or ancestors, whoever's there, is there with the soul contract or the karmic contract on the there's like a table thing is on there, and actually they are saying whatever is on that contract and what they need to do about it. And then the person signs a contract to null and void it. Now, that's one way I've done it. There's tons, there's absolutely tons of ways. But isn't it powerful, just even you, that person seeing, and they're doing it, they can see it, and I'll ask them, what do you see? How do you see it? Yeah. And before I even speak, they're seeing what I'm seeing. So it's clarification for both that they're doing the right thing and they're in the right place. And the energy that's there is palpable. You can feel the energy releasing from people. Yeah. There's times I've went down there and I'm just speaking with the master, and I see sometimes I go in there and sometimes you're not allowed to see your soul contract or your book, and it's chained up, it's locked. You're just not getting there. I've tried every tactic and you just don't. It's not time. You're not ready to be in the Akashic Records because you haven't learned the lesson. You haven't, whatever is to be transformed, because remember, the Akashic Records are there for the future as well. So it really is all about setting that intention. And if you really want to be shown how to do the Akashic Records, we do this in the Spiritual Abundance Creator Program, which is a really powerful spiritual program where you really go into the Akashic Records, find your purpose, we annul contracts or that need to be, or curses or what's going on. Energy, you're going to starseed and activating starseed memories. You're looking at your shadow. You're as a spectator. You're connecting with your spirit council. You're bringing the DNA light bodies and activating them within the self, and you're connecting to the 9th and the 5th dimension. A powerful program. So if this really is something you would like to do, click the link below and comment. Let me know if you visited the Akashic Records. Have you? What has been your perspective of the Akashic Records? I'm Varney, spiritual teacher, coach, mentor, author, podcaster. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help the cause. Thank you.